Inboard Championship Series presents the Dixie Cup Regatta. Brought to you by Mercury Performance Products. The race never stops. We're in Alabama today at beautiful Lake Guntersville for round number 2 of the Inboard Championship Series. And off to our right, you can see the Grand Marshal of today's activity, country singer Johnny Lee. And sitting behind him is Miss Guntersville. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Michael, along with Andy Coker, the 28-year boat racing veteran who will be giving us all his insights today. Welcome aboard, Andy.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Well, our third man on the broadcast crew today, down in the pits, will be a man who'll be trying to get all the insights of what the drivers are going to be doing today. Here's Wally Shaver.
Thanks, Steve. We're looking forward to a great day of racing. We have some very competitive fields here amongst the drivers in the 5, 6, and 7-liter classes. And, of course, the K-boats add a lot of excitement that everybody loves. One unique element that's been added to the races here in Guntersville is the fact that they'll be starting with a pace boat. These drivers have never had that before, so it is going to be a new element for them to get used to. The boat will lead them around the course, the flag will be dropped, and they'll all be starting at the same time. Again, something very unfamiliar to the inboard racing circuit.
Thanks a lot, Wally, as we get set to go here. Andy, they've been talking, as Wally mentioned, a lot about this pace boat, a real controversial situation for the drivers, but they elected to do it. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, it's going to be hard to get all these 5 liters in a line to make the start like this, but it should come off pretty well. They're all pretty skilled drivers.
Great facilities here at Lake Guntersville. You can see the hotel very close to where the site is, so the drivers don't have to go too far for the race site. Let's take a look at the course, Andy, as we see it. They've set it up. It's 1.25 miles.
Yeah, you'd be coming down the straightaway here, probably maxed out at this point. You're going to be going through the first corner. You try to want to stay tucked in as close as you could to the buoys, accelerating out through the corner. And at this point, you'll be locked in, and you're going to get your maximum speed going down the backstretch. Should be floating quite highly. We should get a lot of wave action and stuff down here. Coming through number 3 and out through 4, you're going to see a lot of action here as they come back around to the start-finish line again.
Andy, are the drivers backing off at all as they come into the corner, or are they keeping their foot flat into it the whole time?
Sometimes they back off to set the turning fin into the water so they can get a better bite and drive a little bit better.
We've got exciting racing starting your way. In just a few moments, the 5 liters will be coming. The first of 2 big heats. We'll be back from Guntersville right after these timeouts.
To America's best as they look to Australia and the America's Cup Challenge.
This spurt's for all that you do. You've got the stuff to come through a long way from home. But you're not alone, 'cause your country's hopes are sailing with you. You make America work, and this spurt's for you.
NHL hockey on ESPN, the most exciting action on television. Each week through the Stanley Cup Finals, ESPN's outstanding live coverage brings you the top teams and players. The Edmonton Oilers and the Philadelphia Flyers face off in the season premiere of the NHL's Best, live Thursday night, October 9th at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Speed and power, Thursday on ESPN. First, take the Tunnel Boat Challenge, going from 0 to 100 miles an hour in 5 seconds. And there's hold your breath drama at every turn in the Figure 8 World Championship. Definitely not for the faint of heart. Then, it's the return of the monster trucks. Bigfoot, Hercules, and King Kong are designed to destroy anything that stands in their way. It's all coming your way Thursday on ESPN.
Steve Michael and Andy Coker welcoming you back to the Dixie Cup Regatta here in Guntersville, Alabama. We're set for the Formula Mercruiser 5-liter hydro class. And before we start racing, we had a chance to go down in the pits with Wally and Andy as they got together, helped describe the concept of how these hydroplanes really work.
The cornering is a very crucial part of any boat race. Andy's going to take us through now, then the look at the hull and all the special effects that go into it.
Here we go. As you can see, this is one of the newer state-of-the-art hydroplanes. This is called the sponson, or the shoe of the boat. It's rather large. This is what the boat actually planes on. It's part of a 3-point hydro type aerodynamically designed boat. Now this turning fin is a massive piece of aluminum or steel, and when the boats come sailing in or running at high speeds through the corner, this is what you see that you get a wall of water off of. It's called locking the boat in, or getting it locked in. This is what makes the boat turn, this and the rudder in the back. This is the rudder. This is made of stainless aluminum type stuff. This is what controls the turning portion of it. You turn this and the boat turns. It hooks in with the turning fin that we were just talking about. And of course, this is what makes the boat turn. Some of these rudders are on the left-hand side, some of them are on the right-hand side, depending on how the balance point of the boat you want. There's a lot of theory on turning the boat here. You force weight to the outside. When you have the rudder here, then it forces the inside down. So there's a lot of different schools of thought as far as the rudders go. This is a strut where the propeller shaft comes out. There's a lot of different schools of thought as far as the angle, the shaft angle that goes through here. Mercury's developing a lot of different types of propellers for these type of specialized adaptations that go on. Even some of the guys have gone to some of these that are movable. Now, not while they're running, but that's against the rules, but some of them are actually on hydraulics. There's a lot of technology going into this.
Nice description, Andy, about the hydros. The Formula Mercruiser 5-liter hydros are coming your way for the start. But first, Wally had a chance to talk to Dee Wisely about the start itself.
How critical is the start of the race?
The start's the race, really. You know, if you don't hit it right, you're slow on the start, and it's hard to gain it up, because all these boats run pretty equal, and so it's you got to make a good start or you're not going to be in there.
Well, Andy, let's take a look at the first final heat. We'll recap this. There was a lot of confusion. The drivers, for the first time, you can see all the drivers here that participated in this Formula Mercruiser 5-liter hydro class, but there was really a lot of confusion. It was the first time they really used a pace boat, and you can see it here.
Yeah, it's a great difference between somebody dropping a flag on the race course and being able to see an 8-foot clock that actually looks like a regular second-hand type clock. Most of these people run with a watch on their wrist or in the boat and are capable of timing the starts from a certain point on the race course. Unfortunately, they didn't have a chance to use this, and they're trying this new pace boat type start to see if it'll work in the future.
Here at this time, it was Mark Burghardt out of Detroit, Michigan, who was in the lead, but you could see him back off, and moving up was Spellman Pellerin out of Jefferson, Louisiana. And here you can see Pellerman backing off and waving Mark Burghardt up closer, and then all of a sudden here they decided to race.
Yeah, it is confusing. The drivers, like I said, are not used to something like this. There was a lot of controversy about it. I think it's all been resolved, and the racing got on and progressed very well.
You know, Andy, to be competitive, do these drivers have to go out and have a new hull built every year, or how do they work it in this class?
No, they don't. There are some state-of-the-art equipment out there. The Jones boat running out front is one of the newer designs. It uses a lot of air underneath it to make the ride a lot smoother. The David, driving the second-place boat at this point, is an older Stoddicker type hull. It still runs well. It's very, very competitive type hull.
You had a good shot of the boats as they head off into the corner. Here's a good example of it. What's the speed of the driver going into the corner here?
Well, you come down at probably somewhere around 115 to maybe 118 miles an hour, and you're easing out of this a little bit. You're locking the turning fin in, as you see being done here, and then you walk it on through the corner, and the speeds probably drop down maybe in the high 90s, maybe 95.
And here we come on the final lap as they make the final turn here in that first heat. And it's Spellman Pellerin out of Jefferson, Louisiana, driving chopper coming by, and he takes the checkered flag. And he is the first heat winner here in the Formula Mercruiser 5-liter hydro class. And there you see his brother, David Pellerin, coming in second. So it was a real domination by the two brothers from Jefferson, Louisiana. We'll be back for the start of the second final heat right after these timeouts.
People from all over are driving by dealer after dealer just to get to Dan Shenga Chevy Olds, Gratiot at 31 Mile. Why? It's because Dan Shenga has proven to have the lowest prices on the best selection of new Chevrolets and Oldsmobiles. Add to that an award-winning professionally staffed service department. Drive out today and see for yourself why Michigan's #1 Chevy Olds dealer is just minutes away at Gratiot at 31 Mile.
Once again, Heron Cable Sports, in association with Midwest Video Company, will be bringing you high school football action on Heron Cable TV. A local high school football contest will be videotaped every weekend and replay the following Monday and Tuesday at 8 p.m. and Wednesday at 4 p.m. on Channel 6 or 9 in the Port Huron area and Channel 34 south of Marysville. The week of October 12th will be a Heron football doubleheader with the St. Clair versus Richmond contest airing Wednesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. and Friday at 4 p.m. High school football action is brought to you by Dan Shenga Chevy Olds, Lumberjack Building Centers, and St. Clair County Community College.
544-1000.
ESPN's World Tour continues, and the last stop on this year's tour is the America's Cup, sponsored by Cadillac. By entering the sweepstakes, you'll have a chance to win a trip for two to Australia to see the race for the America's Cup, or win one of 2 limited edition Cadillac Eldorados. Just send us your entry card with your name, address, and the winning slogan. That slogan will be broadcast during these Challenger and Defender rounds in October and November, so don't miss any of the events. Send your card to ESPN World Tour, Post Office Box 1211, Ridgely, Maryland 21683. If you're one of our winners, you'll go with us for a 12-day trip to Australia to see the finals of the America's Cup, or drive away in one of 2 America 2 limited edition Eldorados. Cadillac is out to prove that America 2 is to yachting what Cadillac is to automobiles, an American standard for the world. So get your passport ready and join us down under in Australia.
Welcome back to the 47th annual Dixie Cup Regatta here from Guntersville, Alabama. And we start final heat number 2 of the Formula Mercruiser 5-liter Hydro class. And by the way, the winner will be decided by the quickest overall time in both heats. And Andy, as we see this huge menagerie of boats going off into turn number 1, we see there's a boat already going down, and that's the Miss Chris. That boat is history.
Yes, I don't see any oil or any type of problems from that point. I'm not quite sure what the problem is. We'll probably find out later.
Well, here's our overall leader, Alan Beauscheid, the 32-year-old out of Centerville, Ohio, in the Shopsmith boat, really turning it on the back stretch. This, by the way, Andy, is a brand new boat.
It looks brand new. It's a Kelson design, I believe, out of the Northwest. It has some new trick-type sponsons on the left side. The boat looks like it's handling quite well and is running good.
Scheid having enough time to take a look behind him, and he's got 2 boats that are moving up quickly behind him. And it looks like one of them is the 280 boat of Bob Thrash out of Miami, Florida, driving the Plumber's Friend. As they come down through the battle, there's Thrash going on the outside, trying to make the move off into the pin number 1. And he slides the boat in. He's trying to make a quick apex, but trying to not throw off much speed as he slides that boat off into the corner. Now Thrash coming down the back stretch here. That bright yellow helmet, the orange helmet, is used for what reasons? Everybody's got the same color.
Yeah, it's part of the rule circuit that we go through. If you're thrown from the boat, that other drivers will be able to spot you and not theoretically use you for a turning buoy.
Scheid owning this race so far. He's coming by here for the second time down the front straight. You can see the huge plume of water behind him as he's got a good lead. He's increasing it, and we're keeping an eye on the boat off to our left in the screen, starting to make a move. That is Ray Lynn from New Jersey in the Budget Buster. He was 4th after the first lap. He has moved up to 3rd.
As he's driving a conventional type hydroplane where he sits behind the motor, as you'll notice everybody else is sitting in front of the motor, Ray really has that boat running well and has, well, through the last year.
And the boat that's running really well is our leader, Alan Beauscheid out of Ohio, who has spent 2.5 months over the winter season putting this boat together. And Andy, the reason for, I think, these boats being so very expensive is the wood composites that they use to build these boats. They're very unusual.
That's true. Most of them are built out of marine plywood. It's very hard to get. It comes from one source, and most of it's imported. And most all of it is now into millimeter type plywood, and it's tough to get a hold of.
Well, we start the fourth and final lap, and there you see our leader once again, Bo Scheid, as he makes his move through turn number 2. Now, as he starts to pick up the pace, the boat goes through 110, reaches 120 miles an hour, and even more than that as he gets down the backstretch.
Yeah, the boat's running well. It's good attitude, and water spray, and everything is looking good.
And here's our great battle now for second place. And there's Ray Lynn Jr. trying to make the move on the outside as he goes off into the pin. Ray Lynn, by the way, dominated our first race in the Formula Mercruiser 5-liter class. In Raleigh, he won both heats and took the championship.
Yeah, as Bobby Thrash is trying to hold the inside, and we're going to see what happens here.
Coming around the final pin for the comes down the front straight. A clear winner, Bo Scheid, showing a lot of class and picking up the victory. And he is now the overall champion because of time here in the 5-liter class. And now the great battle back here in the fourth pin for second place. Here's Ray Lynn on the outside trying to make the move, trying to pass Bob Thrash from Miami, Florida, and he just comes by. It looks like Lynn is going to have just enough space as he pulls away. Ray Lynn on a great move. He comes up into second place. Bob Thrash finishes in third. And now let's go down to Wally Shaver with our overall victor here, Alan Bo Scheid out of Ohio.
Bo, congratulations. The overall winner of the 5-liter class. Despite some of the problems that went into this race, you have to be happy knowing that you have won it, even though it took 2 heats.
Yeah, we're extremely happy. We came down here with a new engine. We worked all week to put it in, a new Mercruiser 5-liter engine. And we didn't even have time to test, and we come down here hoping that everything would be right, and it can't be any better than winning.
We'll be back for the K-Racing Runabouts here from Guntersville, Alabama, and the 47th annual Dixie Cup Regatta right after this.
Deliver satisfaction, and here's how. Bob Rainel takes the confusion out of buying or leasing a new car or truck with low monthly payments. Lease this 86 Celebrity Eurosport for only $259 per month, or lease this 86 Cavalier for only $199 per month. Receive a $4,000 rebate on this 86 Chevrolet van conversion. Rebate can be used for down payment. The selection is great. Now's the time to buy at Bob Rainel Chevrolet. Bob Rainel Chevrolet, located on 24th Avenue at Port Huron's North End.
When you're happy, I'm happy.
Sperry's, the downtown Port Huron department store that has been serving the Blue Water area for over 90 years. Browse through Sperry's 3 floors. You'll know you're in a store where quality, value, and good old-fashioned service are important. Sperry's offers classic and contemporary selection of famous brand names for every member of the family, for every occasion. You'll also find an excellent selection of items for the home. Sperry's has convenient parking, and you can charge your purchases on Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and a Sperry's charge is also available. Sperry's, always in style.
Michael Nunn, who's building a reputation for power and speed, takes on master technician Mike Tinley. The Friday Night Fights, live at 9 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Steve Michael and Andy Coker back here with you at the Dixie Cup Regatta here in Guntersville, Alabama. And Andy, we've got a great class coming up here, the K-boats, and one of the most powerful as well as thrilling classes to watch in all of boat racing are these K-boat runabout division classes. And I think they've got a very interesting field, and I think it's a strong one, Andy.
Yes, it is. Most of the boats are from California, a couple from the East Coast. I think you're going to see some good racing.
Well, these boats, by the way, are unrestricted in design, with only rules being the size of the hull, which must be at least 17 feet long. There are no limits to the engine size in this Run What You Brung class, but most drivers prefer running a 462 cubic inch fuel-injected Chevrolet. To be fast in this class, your engine must have a supercharger that actually pumps the fuel and air mixture directly into the cylinders. While different types of fuel are allowed, most drivers, however, prefer using alcohol. The horsepower, Andy, is just tremendous here in the K's, sometimes reaching 1,400, while the propeller is asked to turn over 12,000 times per minute, which in turn gives a formula for these drivers of over 140 miles an hour down this straightaway. And keeping these boats properly trimmed is a key for these drivers, as a plate in the rear of the boat controlled by 2 pedals pressing the driver raise and lower this plate. In order for the driver to reach maximum performance and high speed, he must count on this system to keep the boat properly trimmed as he races at the limit. And there's the pace boat as he comes out. He's coming out of turn number 4. We're getting set to go. This should be exciting. And look at the field coming down here. A strong field of drivers. And as Andy mentioned, most of them coming from as far as California and Oregon to compete in this great, tremendous battle. And the man to watch here is Gordon Jennings in boat 290 out of Orange, California. He is driving Blue Thunder 2. And look at the spray as they go battling off into turn number 1. And these boats are going very close together. It's pretty hairy here, Andy.
Yes, it's pretty tricky driving one of these flat bottom type hulls. They have a trip chine type area, or the sides of the boats dig in quite frequently. So you'll see these guys sometimes flip, and when they do, they go a long way.
What are the dangers of these drivers being so high in the boat and the boat being a flat hull versus maybe a hydroplane?
Well, the one advantage of this is I believe the theory that they're looking at here is when they actually hook or turn over, that they want to throw the driver away from the boat. That's one reason he's up and is so opened.
Well, there you had a chance to see our leader as he bounces along. It's Gordon Jennings, as we mentioned, out of Orange, California. He, by the way, is a second-generation driver, and he's had problems with his engine all year long, Andy. Let's see if he can keep the boat running the whole distance.
Well, it sounds good now. I don't think he's going to have too much problems. There is the boat on the inside. It keeps trying to make a bid for him, but he's handling the water well. It is rather rough out there. It looks like it's getting pretty bumpy on the backstretch, but he's working those trim tabs and that rear plate quite well.
Well, Jennings on the outside really picking up the pace, doing well over 140 miles an hour on the backstretch. And he makes his turn. He seems to have a problem as he goes through the 3rd pin here, making his turn for the final pin before he hits the front straightaway.
He seems to have looked over his shoulder to see what was going on. He has moved to the inside and forced the second-place boat to the outside, that way giving him the better water to run in, and although it doesn't look like there's too much good water out there now.
Andy, great camera angle as you saw him come straight at you. You can see the hull as it bounces around. These drivers are really at the limit.
That's true. A lot of pretty equipment here, too. These guys are very meticulous. The stuff's very clean, and they do a lot of work with chrome and aluminum on these things.
This will be a 4-lap affair as the drivers come by here. You see K21, that's Roger Glover out of Reno, Nevada. And they come around here. You can see some liquid coming out the left side of the engine. Do you have any idea what that is, Andy?
Well, some of it's overspray, just so they can tell if the motor's cooling, or it might be a fuel overflow valve or something to that effect.
Gordon Jennings, who is being watched very closely by his father as he comes down. You can see on the back, is that a parachute that they wear in these boats?
That's true. Even the limited inboards are running with parachutes. It's hooked to the boat, so if you're thrown out, the chute would deploy and slow you down, because you are running at such excessive speeds, you could get hurt quite bad.
And as we look back, boat 999, that's Duffy Daly out of Miami, Florida, one of only 2 boats that is racing here from the East Coast.
That's true. Duff is a good competitor, has been around boat racing for a number of years.
Heat number 1 of the K class. Here's Gordon Jennings coming around for the final time. He is out on the back stretch, and he is being watched very closely by Charles Kraft out of Bakersfield, California.
Yeah, Charlie looks like he's going to make a move on him here coming out of the 4th corner. I think we should watch this and see what happens.
Here's Jennings now setting up for the final pin, going to the inside. He's forcing Kraft on the longer route to the outside. They're coming very close, and look at Jennings get the boat out of the water. He'll take the victory. And as we set up for the final heat in the K class, let's go down to meet the Grand Marshal, Johnny Lee.
It's nice to be here. This is my first big boat race I've ever got to attend, let alone be a Grand Marshal at it.
Well, you're the Grand Marshal, so that's some pretty heavy-duty stuff for you.
Yeah, I've been Grand Marshaling, you know. I had a lot of fun, though. I'm enjoying it. I didn't think it'd be quite as exciting as it was, and I'm looking forward to today. But it is pretty exciting.
Are you surprised at the power that these boats can put out?
Yeah, I'm even more surprised at the guys that get in there and drive them, you know. Yeah, I saw one flip yesterday, you know, and it's just amazing how quick they can lose it, you know.
A little safer on the stage, eh?
A lot safer on the stage. Unless you're in the wrong place now.
A lot of exciting drivers and celebrities here at the 47th Annual Dixie Cup Regatta. A super field of boats, and the horsepower is only getting bigger, so don't go away. We'll be back for the start of the second heat of the K-Racing Runabout class right after this timeout.
Catch all the racing action all year long with an American Powerboat Association Associate Membership. Stay abreast of the latest in the sport of powerboat racing with the association's monthly magazine, and receive paddock passes that let you get an up-close and personal look at the boats, motors, and drivers. Boat racing fever. Catch it with an associate membership to the American Powerboat Association. Send a $20 check or money order to American Powerboat Association, Post Office Box 377, East Detroit, 48021.
You can't use a step ladder to get off the roof, a straight ladder to change a light bulb, and neither is good for painting ceilings. So here's Super Step. It's every ladder you'll ever need and more. It's a tough 12.5-foot straight ladder that you can bend and lock into a 6-foot freestanding step ladder, or an adjustable scaffold that's strong enough for two. But there's more. Fold and lock this way and you have a workbench or table. Fold and lock again and it's a pair of sawhorses. Can't reach the window without breaking down plants? Use Super Step this way and you won't crush a leaf. You can even paper that tricky stairwell safely and easily. Each of these Loctite hinges withstands 10,000 pounds of pressure. Ever see a ladder bend like this before? Don't buy all these ladders, scaffolds, and more. You'll spend over $500. One Super Step does all these jobs. And when you're done, just fold it up and store it away. Super Step comes with this incredible 10-year limited warranty and a simple 3-part payment plan. Don't send any money. Just call 1-800-453-6606. We'll bill your credit card 3 payments of $37 each, and we won't bill the last payment till you've tried Super Step for 30 days. Yes, you get a full 30-day home trial before the last payment is billed. The total price is just $99 plus $12 shipping and handling. Only the original Super Step has a 10-year warranty. So call 1-800-453-6606 now.
Steve Michael and Andy Coker back here with you in Guntersville, Alabama. We start the second final heat of the K-Racing Runabout class. And as they come down for lap number 1, again, Andy, it's Gordon Jennings out of Orange, California in Blue Thunder 2, and he has grabbed the lead.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job. He's got these starts down with the pace boat, absolutely superb. He's out there running and pushing for everything he's worth, and it seems to be that the wind's picked up a little bit, and he's having a little control problems, it looks like, from here.
Well, for these boats, Andy, is it better to actually have smooth water or a little lighter chop?
Well, it's better to have about a 1/4-inch little ripple on top of the water. It gets the boat broke loose and helps it run better. Unfortunately, these are flat bottoms, though, so every little ripple and every little wake and every little hole, they either fall down in it or have to go over the top of it.
Andy, you've had a chance to drive these flat bottoms as well as the hydros. Describe the difference in driving technique that you need for each class.
Well, first, the thing you would notice in driving a flat bottom would be the fact that you're out there all by yourself. There's no cowling to give you any type of false sense of security, even though, you know, the cowlings are made out of fiberglass. You're sort of hanging it out there in the wind, as they'd say. And it's very breezy, and other than that, they're about the same.
7 boats out here battling this way as they come onto the back stretch. That's Gordon Jennings. As we mentioned, 5 of these 7 boats have come all the way from the West Coast, and they seem to be the prime of the class here. Gordon Jennings, as we mentioned, watched very closely by his father, who is a great racer himself. Now Jennings comes down the front stretch. You can see the boat move up and down. He's almost hugging onto the steering wheel. Now almost loses it as it bounces sideways. What are the chances of these boats actually barrel rolling?
Pretty good. I've actually seen the boats come in half right there by where the driver sits. They have so much torque and so much horsepower. When they get on the throttle, they could actually twist the boats in half if they tried.
Gordon Jennings, as he makes his way down in lap number 2, he's on the back stretch here. His bugaboo all year has been his engine, and he was really worried about it before actual racing today, but he seems to have it plugged in very well. He won the first heat. He's trying to take the overall victory here by coming up with a win here in the second heat.
Yeah, they pulled a maintenance breakdown on it while they were down there. They took a good close look at it, make sure everything was working okay on it. And it appears they've been doing their homework.
Jennings comes by the start-finish line one more time, gets the green flag, which says you have 1 lap to go. There you see Charles Kraft, again out of Bakersfield, California. He is in second place as he was in the first heat, and he is really getting airborne.
That's true. What's happening, I believe, is he's not staying on the cavitation plate, or some of these boats even have a water ballast they can pick up in the front. I'm not quite sure what Mr. Kraft has here, but he's still running quite well.
There's Gordon Jennings now on the backstretch in the final time, pushing that 1,400 horsepower, 140 miles an hour down the backstretch. Now Jennings with Kraft right behind him in second place. Almost deja vu. It happened in the first heat. Let's see how Jennings sets it up for the final 2 pins. He comes around now, hugging the pin number 3. Will do the same as he comes through here. Pin number 4 now stretches it out. He's only about 300 yards from taking the checkered flag. Here he comes. And Gordon Jennings out of Orange, California, in the Blue Thunder 2 picks up the victory. And coming into second place is the man from Bakersfield, California, Charles Kraft. Let's go down with Wally Shaver and talk to the class of the field, Gordon Jennings, out of Orange, California.
Gord, congratulations. It was a good race for the boat and for you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, everything worked real good. The boat's working super. I got a great crew, and everything just happened to be my day today.
What was the toughest part of the course for you?
The straightaway about in the middle, there's pretty bad rollers, and that's about the only thing that's toughest. But other than that, everything's real smooth.
Were you aware of how close people were behind you?
The first couple laps they were close, and then they kind of spread it out, and I was aware. I'd look around, take it easy on the equipment once you get ahead.
Well, once you get that lead, is it an advantage for you where you've got the clean water where they have to come through your wake?
Oh, yeah. See, once you get ahead, you can drive wherever you want. You can, use up the whole race course, and everybody else got to drive over your stuff, and makes it a lot tougher for them.
Well, Gord Jennings, winner of the K-Boat class, Steve.
Well, the K-boats are done for the day. We now move up to the bigger hydro classes. The Formula Mercruiser 6-liter hydros are coming your way. We'll return to the beautiful shores of Lake Guntersville right after this.
Hey, I avoid sugar. That makes me feel good about me.
Feeling good about yourself, feeling carefree. You've got new carefree sugarless love, fresher taste that's sugar-free. Feeling good about yourself, feeling carefree.
Carefree's got such a great fresh taste. Why would anyone chew gum with all that sugar?
Feeling carefree. Nothing's cold.
From the investor's point of view, with Charles Schwab.
I started Charles Schwab and Company from the investor's point of view. So at Schwab, you get big discounts and fast trades. And here's what I mean by fast.
Just a minute. I want to call my broker before the market closes. Because I invest with Charles Schwab, I can buy and sell stocks just like that. Listen.
Charles Schwab.
This is Sue Haynes, account 864555. I'd like to buy 300 shares of Mega at the market.
Mega's at 10. I'm entering your order to buy 300 shares at market. If you'd like to wait, I'll confirm.
Great.
300 shares of Mega is yours at 10. Anything else?
That's it. Thanks. See?
I'm Charles Schwab, and that's what I call fast, from the investor's point of view.
If fast trades and big discounts make sense to you, call for your free booklet, What a Discount Broker Can Do for You. Call now, 800-445-4700, toll-free. That's 800-445-4700.
America's 132-year domination of the America's Cup, broken by Australia. Now America prepares for the challenge, and ESPN brings home exclusive America's Cup coverage with highlights of past matchups and profiles of the American teams. ESPN will have the only coverage of the Challenger and Defender rounds and exclusive coverage of the best of 7 America's Cup finals, live from Australia. The America's Cup, a challenge down under, only on ESPN.
People standing by the pool getting good vantage points to watch this exciting race coming up. It's the Formula Mercruiser 6-liter hydro class. As the boats come down the start-finish line, they take the white flag. And Andy, this is going to be a real battle as we look at the field, probably between Chuck Woodruff and Steve David. They battled tooth and nail at Raleigh with Woodruff coming up with a victory, and it may be the same thing here.
That's true. It looks like Steve's grabbed the lead at this point. He's going down through the number 1 corner. He's got the inside, which gives him a good advantage here. He's got a good high rooster tail. He's getting good bite. I just hope it's not too rough for him there. And we'll see where Chuck's at.
And here comes the Buckeye Kid as he makes the move out on the outside. Steve David out of Pompano Beach, Florida, is losing the lead now as Chuck Woodruff comes around on the outside. Let's see what David does as he tries to set up the turn into 3. Woodruff taking the longer route, but is grabbing the lead as he comes around turn number 4. Now turns the jets on as momentum carries him through sponson to sponson with David as they come down the front straightaway. And you can see David's boat bouncing around. It looks like, Andy, that Woodruff's boat seems to be set up better for this water conditions here.
Yeah, it's a Jones design hull. It runs better in rougher water, carries a lot of air underneath it, where Steve's boat has a smaller bottom, not as deep a sponson area, and it doesn't handle the rough water as good.
Woodruff now stretching the margin out on the man from Pompano Beach, Florida, Steve David, who's driving the Florida Flash. There you see in close range the Buckeye Kid bouncing out through the back 40 as he comes around heading for turn number 3. He's known as the rookie, but he's been racing 17 years. He really must have the experience down.
Yes, he's been driving a lot of equipment in that 17 years. He's a very, very experienced driver, and you'll see him drive about every class that we have here today.
Chuck Woodruff won one heat at Raleigh, finished second in the other. He's trying to win his second heat of the year here in the Inboard Championship Series. We're in round number 2. From Guntersville, Alabama, as we take a look back in second place, Steve David, who's a real estate investor. He's been racing 22 years, but yet he's only 32 years old. Now Woodruff now on the back stretch, coming around one more time. Boy, that boat really seems to be glued to the water, Andy.
Yes, it's very well designed. The owner, Mr. Haggart, has put a lot of time in it, and it really shows.
David now back in second place, starting to be hounded by Jerry Scheit out of Dayton, Ohio. As we come back and look at our leader one more time, Chuck Woodruff, the 38-year-old from Miami. He's getting the green flag, which means one more lap around here in Guntersville.
Jerry's making a move on Steve here, as you can see it, and it really looks good. Jerry's got the boat running excellent. Must have had some type of carburation problem or something.
Boy, he's got that Coors Fast Tracker really dialed in, because he went right by Steve David and into second place.
Chuck's just cruising now. It looks like he's taking it easy on the equipment. He's far enough ahead, I think, that he's just going to take it easy on him.
Well, second place man Jerry Scheit, who finished third at Raleigh, and he also won a heat. So Scheit trying to move in on our leader here, Chuck Woodruff, but there's not much time remaining as Woodruff has only 1/2 of a lap to go, and he'll be declared the victor here of this first final heat. You see him really turning on the jets. That's our second place man, Jerry Scheit out of Dayton, Ohio. And the spray in front is our leader. Here comes Chuck Woodruff around for the victory. He picks up the victory. Let's go down to talk to Wally Shaver with our winner.
Well, you had a little bit of a battle there with Steve David, but he seemed to have some problems going into the first turn.
He got down the front chute. As he came down the front chute after I got by him in the turn, the top turn, he started nosediving real hard, and so he just took his foot out of it to bring the boat back in one piece.
How do you feel with a field of just 5 boats here for the 6-liter competition?
Well, if you just want to win, that feels pretty good, but I like competition. I really do. I like somebody next to me where we can run.
Well, there you go, Andy. A perfect example. On one hand, Chuck Woodruff, our winner, and a man who didn't get his boat out on the water, Jody Colemanston out of Prairie View, Louisiana. We'll be back for the second heat of the Formula Mercruiser 6-liter hydro class right after.
Trust for craftsmanship and style. That's what you'll find at Leith Furniture, serving the downtown Port Huron area for over 63 years. Flex Steel, Lazy Boy, Broyhill, Bassett, Keller, Thomasville, Simmons, Sealy, and more. Low prices that save you money and hassles. Our one low price includes free delivery, setup, and service. At Leith Furniture, your next purchase will be easy and affordable with credit plans that include most major credit cards or our versatile Leith charge account.
Does your automatic 4-speed, 5-speed, or 4-wheel drive have a problem? Do you have a truck, bus, or van whose transmission or rear end needs help? Don't panic. Call Pioneer 2. We've been solving transmission problems for over 20 reliable years. We're family owned, have the latest equipment, and certified mechanics. We're conveniently located in Romeo, on Van Dyke, 1 block north of 31 Mile Road. Call Pioneer 2 at 752-6523 for a second opinion. We're the high-quality, low-cost transmission people.
against Boston College, live Saturday night at 7:30 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Fans as well as drivers enjoying the great water here at Lake Guntersville, Alabama. We're set for the second final heat of the Formula Mercruiser 6-liter hydro class. And you can see the pace boat now starting to move on the inside. And here come the boats, 3 abreast as they come out in the front lane. Steve David on the inside. And with Jerry Scheidt and Chuck Woodruff. In that first heat, it was all Chuck Woodruff from Miami, Florida. And it was Scheidt finishing second, David third. Let's see how they go this time, Andy, as they come down and take the white flag, and we're underway.
David's got the inside again. Chuck's right out there beside him. And they're coming down to the first corner, and Steve's having those handling problems again.
And it looks like Woodruff is easily able to move on the inside, and Scheidt on the outside, taking a lot of water in that cockpit. Now we take a look. It's Woodruff now grabbing the lead. David taking the inside route, but he is quickly losing ground. And look at the move by Woodruff as he's really powering his way down the backstretch.
Yeah, it's getting fairly rough back there. I can see Jerry coming through in the spray now. He's going to get locked up with Chuck on the outside as they come through 3 and 4.
Well, it took Jerry Scheidt 4 laps last time to pass Steve David. This time he's done it on the very first lap as they come around now. It's Chuck Woodruff out in first place. Jerry Scheidt out of Dayton, Ohio in that Coors Fast Tracker back in second place. And Steve David on the inside falling back in the Florida Flash.
Yeah, it seems like Chuck's starting to get some oil or some type of smoke coming out of the cockpit. And Jerry seems to be pushing on the outside here. Let's see what happens on this.
And that's really got to create havoc for a driver's visibility with a visor. And we've lost Steve David from Pompano Beach, Florida. His engine has expired. He's moved to the inside. So the real estate investor is out of the race. It's got to be a real tragedy for a driver because he comes all the way here to race, and then his race is over before the end of the day.
And Jerry's closing in on Chuck, though, and this is really turning into an excellent race as they come around the corner here. Chuck's holding the inside and is really pushing for everything he's worth, and so is Jerry on the outside.
What's amazing is Scheidt taking the longer route on the outside, getting more grip with the sponsons in the water. He's able, it looks like, Andy, to be able to pick up more momentum as he comes out of that turn and really use it to his advantage coming down the front straight.
Well, the problem he's got, though, is he's really flying the boat. There's a lot of lumpy holes and everything out here. Chuck's still blowing oil.
Well, Chuck Woodruff having oil sprayed in his face, it looks like, from the cockpit. As I said, that's going to be tough on a driver.
It's hard to see. He's probably leaning out of the cockpit to see what the only type of visibility he'll have at this point.
Here comes Scheidt now, trying to move on the outside as they go through pin number 3. Coming right up on the right side now of their leader, Chuck Woodruff. Woodruff hugging the inside. Here's Scheidt trying one more time here. They're showing the green flag. We've got 1 lap remaining here in the second final heat of the 6-liter hydro class.
And Chuck's making him work, and both of them are running real good. And you can see Chuck leaning out of the boat here, trying to get some visibility on where he's going. Jerry's pulling up real close. This is an excellent race.
Scheidt using that momentum on the front straightaway, trying to take the lead here. Woodruff hugging the inside. He is ducking his head out of the way as oil is filling up his visor. He's having a real time trying to find out where he is on the course. It's got to be an advantage for Scheidt now. Just waiting to make his move. He's hugging the right back sponson now of our leader, Chuck Woodruff. Here he comes trying to make the move on the right side, and he's flipped. He's gone over once, and the boat comes down to a complete halt right side up, Andy. But the boat took off of Jerry Scheidt, who was in second place trying to make a move, and it totally flipped 360 degrees, and there's our leader slowing up. He knows there's been a collision.
Looks like the rescue boat's at Jerry right now. We'll have to wait and see what type of reports we get from him.
Let's go down to Chuck and hear what he had to say.
Chuck, congratulations on winning the 6-liter race, but it was, despite the fact it was just 2 boats, you guys put on quite a show, and exactly what happened on that accident with Jerry Scheidt?
Well, I was in the turn. I was leaning out the cockpit to so I could see, and I was making a nice wide arc and pushing him out, and he just dove in on me, like he just came in on me, and then he hit the back of the boat, and he just went straight up in the air.
You're obviously aware that he was right with you the whole race long.
I was aware the whole time, because I had to keep looking back and forth in the smoke, and I knew he was there, so I could find the pin where I wouldn't go past it and then screw him up, because see what happens is the guy wants to turn. But he was right here in my hip where he couldn't see nothing, and I went to turn, and I was drifting out a little bit to keep him on my hip, and I'd accelerate him out of turn, and boy, he just dove in on me. I don't know if his boat hooked or what.
Congratulations on an outstanding win.
Thank you very much.
They call him rookie. Drives like a veteran.
Andy, you heard Chuck's explanation. As an ex-driver, there's the evidence. What do you think?
I think that Jerry probably was coming in there pretty hot, was probably locked in pretty good. Chuck, of course, is trying to drive, you know, through the smoke and avoid hitting the pins. Probably when he ran into the Buckeye kid, he probably got a lot of air under the boat, and that's probably what did it.
As you see Jerry Scheidt going off, we're going to take a break and come back for the start of the 7-liter MerCruiser Hydroplane action right after these timeouts from Lake Guntersville.
Kaywood Auto Company on Pine Grove in Port Huron. At Kaywood Auto, we make it so simple to drive home in a new Buick, Pontiac, Honda, or Mercedes. Our representatives are knowledgeable, courteous, and ready to find the right car for you, and at an affordable price. We'll take the old car in trade and arrange easy, low monthly payments. Our friendly service department offers the latest in engine diagnostics and unibody repair. So drive to Kaywood's for great cars, low prices, and super service. Kaywood Auto Company, Pine Grove near the Blue Water Bridge. If your vehicle needs tires, Thrifty Tires' 2 locations are where you should head for rugged Goodyear tires for pickups, vans, and RVs at sensational sale prices. Thrifty Tire has Goodyear light truck tires at prices that are light on your budget, like the Goodyear Wrangler All-Season Al, just $84.95 in size P235 75R15. So don't wait, the sale ends September 30th. Drive in now for Goodyear light truck tire savings at Thrifty Tire, New Baltimore on Green Street, Port Huron on Pine Grove Avenue. You'll drive away with a great buy.
Many cereals come with sugar and salt already in them. Up to 26 added teaspoons a box. But not Nabisco shredded wheat. The only thing in shredded wheat is the natural toasted goodness of shredded wheat. Nabisco shredded wheat, the only thing added to it is what you put on it. Nabisco.
If your home isn't already protected by this premium acrylic latex house paint, it's time you discovered beautiful True Test Weatherall from True Value Hardware stores. Weatherall goes on smoothly and resists mildew, cracking, and peeling. It protects exterior wood, stucco, and masonry in any weather. And you can choose from 3 finishes and more than 700 rich colors. So give your home the protection and beauty of True Test Weatherall house paint from participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Steve Michael and Andy Coker welcoming you back to the Dixie Cup Regatta. We're set for the Formula MerCruiser 7-liter hydros. And Andy, these are the big boats with the big horsepower.
That's true. These are the big 7-liter boats. These are the biggest they get as far as running limited inboards at this point. And Steve seems to be running real well. He's out front with the Steeler.
This being his 2nd race of the season, a driver who won at Raleigh is not here this weekend, Mark Tate. But all the rest of the competition is, as we take a look at Stephen David. And as we mentioned, we've heard his name before. He was back in the 6-liter race. He's running now here in the 7-liters.
And he's doing an excellent job, too. He's got the inside. Water's getting rougher. The boat seems to be handling it quite well. You can see as it flying it down the straightaway here, coming into the first corner again.
David has gone by for the first lap as he goes off into pin number 1. Sets the boat up, starts sliding it over. What is the top speed for these down the back chute?
You're probably getting up around 140 miles an hour, and it gets real exciting. The boats are so big that they really don't get that sensation of moving very quickly, so everything's sort of in slow motion.
Well, there's our leader, Steve David, as he starts to stretch out his lead on the back stretch, now heading into buoy number 3. And as we talked about earlier, David running in 2 classes this weekend. A lot of preparation, Andy. What do you have to do to get a boat ready from heat to heat? What do you look for?
Well, they check the oil like you would in your normal car, except you got a mechanic or somebody will pull a spark plug and take a reading to get an idea how the motor's functioning. Of course, you have to gas it up, make sure there's no water in it, then put the corks back in and fasten everything down and make sure it runs, and then away you go.
Well, we've been talking about Steve David, but the man in 2nd place, Chuck Woodruff, driving Southern 7. And he also races in other classes. He was the winner, of course, in our last class, the 6-liter event. Now, as they battle down, they come through here. Boat number 10, Milton Wiggins, out of Gadsden, Alabama, driving the Mist Corrosion Control.
Milton's a local favorite here and is competing on the lake, trying to hold up, I guess, the Dixie Cup tradition here. course, we can see some oil coming out of Steve's motor here at this point, and it appears that he might have a problem.
Well, the boat, the Steeler, in the lead. Here's David coming by one more time. In complete control, but we'll keep an eye on that, Andy, to see if there is a problem in that boat. As you mentioned, you took a look and you noticed it. Back in second place, Chuck Woodruff. And J77, the man from Miami, Florida.
It appears that Steve's way out front now. Only some type of major problem could let Chuck get him. It looks like Chuck's just riding around, biding his time.
So David now heading down the back stretch one more time. It looks like he is not let off in the accelerator. He is keeping the pedal right down to the wood, and he comes by one more time. He's looking for the checkered flag as he makes the turn down the front straight in front of this huge crowd here at Lake Guntersville in Alabama. And he comes by. There is the checkered flag, and there's the victory for Steve David. And David raises his hand. He starts to slow the boat up. He looks around now, looking to see who finished second. It was Chuck Woodruff. Woodruff finishes in second. We're going to get a chance now to go dockside and talk to our very happy winner, Steve David from Florida.
Steve, congratulations on your first place finish here in the qualifying heat.
Thanks. It was, the conditions were really rotten out there. It was windy and rough, but this boat's just so good in rough water. We were just able to stay in it the whole time.
What's the difference with this boat versus others in rough water?
The shaft angle is a little bit shallower, so we tend to float more at a straight level rather than get a bow-high attitude.
Where did you find the roughest part, on the back chute?
The back chute going into that turn was horrible because the slower boats were leaving some really big rollers.
How does that affect you? What happens with those high rollers?
You just start thinking about the bad things that can happen, but you don't back out of it. Just
fear goes through your mind?
No, it's funny. As soon as the gun starts, you forget all about reality. The only thing is you're out there to win, period. That's it.
Thanks, Wally. There he is, the man with 22 years of racing experience. He's one race heat away from taking this 7-liter title. We'll be back for the final racing heat of the day from Lake Guntersville in Alabama right after this.
New car or truck you've been wanting, in stock and ready for immediate delivery. The New Eagle has made buying easier by extending their hours for your convenience. The New Eagle has low down payments on everything in stock, a variety of flexible low interest rate financing plans, and they'll give you the highest possible trade-in allowance for your current vehicle. The New Eagle, Chrysler Plymouth Dodge, located on 24th Avenue in Port Huron, across from the North End Kmart's. The New Eagle, nobody treats you better.
Darling, don't be dull. I don't care how much money you got. You can buy it. It's not for sale. It's original. One of a kind. It's exceptional. It's one of a kind. And it's you. When you sew it, you're one of a kind.
Ditch it on.
Get it up.
New incredible machines. Exceptional.
And it's you.
ESPN's Friday Night Fights. Each week, ESPN is your ringside seat to see today's best young boxers exchange blows. Count on championship rounds of top-ranked boxing live on ESPN.
ESPN's exclusive Saturday night CFA Showdown features a leading contender for the national crown. Penn State, with Heisman candidate DJ Dozier, takes on the revved-up backfield of Boston College. Live Saturday night at 7:30 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Steve Michael with Andy Coker welcoming you back to beautiful Lake Guntersville in Alabama. We're set for the final heat of the day for the Formula Mercruiser 7-liter hydro race. And as you see, the pace boat taking the inside route. Andy, there's been a big change here. The man who won the first heat, Stephen David, his engine went south and went sour after that heat, and now he was out of a ride, and Jim Deal in the Deal Me In boat offered him the ride in the boat.
Yeah, apparently Steve has taken that ride. The points will go to the boat, will not go to Steve. He's making a perfect start here with Chuck right on his outside hip. Of course, this boat is fast. It did win the Raleigh race in the first of the series, and it looks like he's in an excellent position.
And this boat also set the world record in this class earlier this year. So it is fast. We'll see what Steve David can do with it. He has grabbed the lead. Chuck Woodruff has dropped back into second place. And there you see the man from Pompano Beach stretching the margin out in the new boat now. Deal me in.
He's got his foot in it, and he's really flying it down the backstretch. He's getting it hooked in now with the turning fin, and you can see him going through the rough water. This would be the roughest part here because all the boats have just come around, but he's doing a superb job of driving it, and Chuck's hanging right there off his outside hip.
It's a real challenge, Andy. It's got to be for a driver. He has never really driven this boat before today, and he has to step in with no time to really warm it up and to find out how it feels for him.
Well, he was driving a Staudacher boat, and now he is getting into another Staudacher. So basically all hydroplanes handle the same. It's just when you get on the edge that something happens, you're not quite sure how it's going to react when you get there.
Well, there you see Steve David pulling out the margin on Chuck Woodruff. What little things can you do to set the boat up, you know, center CG or whatever, to get it to your field before you get in it?
There's practically nothing he can do. The boat is excellently prepared by Jimmy Deal. The boat is just an excellent piece of equipment.
Boat coming by, Andy. It looks like it's on rails as it comes by one more time in front of the start-finish line. Here we look back farther in the field. There you see Chuck Woodruff going by in the orange boat. And there you see another boat. It looked like it was Joe Marshall out of Knoxville, Tennessee, as he drives with the engine in front, one of the older models.
Yeah, that's true. They're getting harder and rarer to find, but there are some of them that are out there, and some of them do run excellent.
There you see the local favorite, Milton Wiggins, in Miss Corrosion Control, battling back into third place. But we go back to our leader, Steve David. And David, again, stretching the margin out, getting it a little loose as he goes back into turn number 3. Fully in control here, Andy.
Yes, sir, he is. The boat looks beautiful. It's hooked up nice. It's going through the corners. Chuck's boat is hooked up real nice, too. It looks excellent.
It looks like when you look at the boat, Chuck is actually sitting lower in the water. It's got a lower CG.
That's true. Cockpit design has a lot to do with this. So does the balance point of the boat and how offset they have it.
On the final lap here, we see Steve David on the backstretch, really pulling the margin away from second place man Chuck Woodruff. And looking for the victory. It'll be a second straight heat victory of the day here in the 7-liter hydro class. He has really owned the competition today.
Yeah, the boat is excellently prepared.
And now David making the turn for the final time, looks to set it up into pin number 3. The fans here really enjoying Steve David as he gets set, and he comes across to take the checkered flag, the victory for the man from Florida. Coming into second place was Chuck Woodruff, also from Florida. Let's go down and talk to our overall victor today. It doesn't matter what boat he drives. Here's Steve David.
Steve, congratulations.
Thank
You're
you.
a fill-in for that boat, and it seemed to work out pretty good for you today.
Yeah, I'd never been in it, but it's just a fantastic handling piece of equipment. And the crew did an outstanding job.
Now, this was a last-minute deal because you had a problem with your boat yesterday.
Right, we won yesterday, but just across the finish line, we burned a piston. So Mr. Deal came up today and asked if I'd run his for him.
Geez, you picked the right deal there, eh?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was a great day for us.
You find a big difference between that boat and your boat?
They both handle really well. This one's probably a little bit more stable than mine is. Yeah.
Did you feel really any competition from Chuck Woodruff?
I knew he was back there. He's constantly back there, so you can never back out of it.
Well, congratulations on an outstanding race.
Thank you very much. We really enjoyed it.
Thanks a lot, Wally. It was a thrilling day, Andy, here at the 47th Annual Dixie Cup Regatta. Your final comments.
Well, I've had a lot of fun, seen a lot of people I haven't seen for a while. It's been a real good race, real exciting. I'm looking forward to doing some more.
Well, as we get a chance to look at the overall winners here at our 4 classes, we'd like to thank the following people: the Guntersville JCs for making this such a great event, and also the sanctioning body, the American Powerboat Association, for their great input in this series. This has been the second race of the Inboard Championship Series. Be sure to watch us again when we travel to Eugene, Oregon for round number 3. I want to thank Andy Coker for taking the time out from his busy schedule for joining us today. For Wally Shaver, I'm Steve Michaels saying so long from Guntersville, Alabama. Sponsored by the APBA, the 47th Annual Dixie Cup Regatta has been brought to you by Mercury Performance Products. The race never stops.